Hello, everybody. Clay Smith here with LREI Property Management in Louisville, Kentucky. Um, Wanted to go over the basics of how you get started in real estate investing. And it all starts with getting prepared to own real estate financially. So establishing good credit is important. So today I got an email or a message to one of the social media sites for somebody asking me for some information. They said that, in short, they have a single family property that's already occupied. They've had it for about 4 years. They want to invest in a second property by August. No money saved currently, so zero down. They had some debt run up, and now they've been paying it off. They're almost debt free again. And they're looking at properties at the $55,000 to $75,000 range. They're comfortable with their numbers. They've been analyzing a lot of properties, are ready to pull the trigger, and wanted to know what would suggest as the next steps. Currently, they're scheduled to meet or plan to meet with a commercial lender this week, so in the next couple days here at a local bank. So my recommendations here are going to be, first off, you need to be prepared. And when I say you need to be prepared, I mean you need to have your credit score in order. So there's two things that people are looking for when you're going to go into that bank to get your loan, and a reason why you would want to go talk to the bank. I do think that you should go talk to a bank prior to buying a real estate investment property so you can discuss what options are available to you and make sure that you have a good lender and that those products still exist. I mean, they're everywhere right now, but if you're watching right now, it's May 15th, 2018. If some years from now you're watching this video, products could have changed. So check with your banks. I met with several banks before I pulled the trigger and found one that would want to lend to me. Found a couple before we got into our first endeavor. So starting with your credit score, what you need to do is get some information on where you stand today. So go to mint.com, mint.com, put in your information, pull up your credit score, and this is a really helpful site. This is where I recommend that you start. You want to have a credit score of 630 or better before you approach your lender, typically, in this day and age. And so you can see my credit score here recently has taken a beating, and you'll be able to see why here. When I started, it was about the 750 to 800 range. It went up into 800s pretty quick as I started to buy real estate, and my utilization rate went up with my credit. My score went up, so I was well over 800s. But I think I started around 680s to 700s, and it wasn't too long before I was well over 800. As of today, so let's look at a couple things here, and you'll see why the credit score is what it is now, and how your situation might mirror mine. But so first thing, on-time payments. It has a high impact to how your credit scores is configured. So if you don't have on-time payments, you need to go get your annualcreditreport.com and get all three credit reporting agencies, the big three, TransUnion, Experian, Equifax. Pull your credit reports in complete detail from each of these, and then dispute everything that's on there, whether you paid it on time or not. You need to make that dispute. It's on the company to come back and say yes or no. A lot of times there's no profit in them continuing to fight that battle. So sometimes they don't respond, and sometimes you get remarks that rightfully so should be on there removed. So number one, dispute everything. Now, if you can't dispute it, you can put notes on your account, meaning like if you dispute it and it comes back again and it's still there and they say no, you can put a note on your account saying, this happened to me in 2008. I was in school, pursuing a degree, working a job. The market crashed, lost my job, got laid off. I was making a ton of good money, and I just didn't have the experience or the degree to go get the same level job, making the same money that I would need to support the way I was living at the time. Fell behind on my first rental property payments a month or two late. I was able to hold on to it and recover, and I got worked 2-3 jobs until everything turned around. I graduated. But what I wrote to the credit company, was at the time I didn't have the skill set and the experience in my industry to find a comparable job making the same money I was making before. Now I do have that experience, I do have that degree, and I feel that this will not be another scenario that will repeat itself. I've prepared myself for the future. And so that goes a long way into the way that the creditors read your report and understand. At least you can put a note on there as to why that happened to you, and you can explain a way that it's going to happen again. So your credit utilization usage is the next thing I want to move to. That's that red dot here on your screen. And credit utilization is going to be it's going to be your credit usage. So if you have a $10,000 credit card, if I have $10,000 in total of all credit cards and lines of credit available to me, 86% of that is used right now. That means I would have $8,600 in credit being used of my $10,000 of available credit. That's why my rating would be so poor at this time. What that means is that I have one of two options. One, I can increase my available credit by calling the credit agencies and asking them for an increase in my line of credit, or I can pay down that credit. So those are my two options there that can impact this score. Now, if you don't know this, every 6 months you can call your credit card company and request an increase in your credit limits or a decrease in the rate that you pay. So first off, I would just opt that don't worry about the rate. Increase your credit available credit, so that it also is going to help you if you get backed against the wall. You're able to charge maybe an HVAC unit or something on that first property. I mean, there's nothing like getting hit, buying 10 properties and then getting hit with 10 HVAC units in the dead of winter and having to recover from something like that. And so go out there, increase your credit availability. That's going to reduce your credit utilization rate if it's already high. Now, if it's low, you need to stop using your bank card and start using your credit card so you get some utilization. Pay it off in full at the end of each month, but use your credit card. Don't use your bank card. It also gives you another layer of security because your bank will freeze the funds available to you if somebody steals your information from your bank account. So you should be using a credit card to protect yourself anyways. Doesn't matter if you pay it off at the end of the month and you get zero and you're back to zero again. These credit reports get pulled at indiscriminate times, and they're not going to be pulling it on the day that you pay this thing off and reporting back credit utilization at 0%. They're going to get a reasonable number here. So pay it off each month and every month. Don't maintain credit because then you're just burning through there. So what you want to do in all possibilities, set a calendar reminder every 6 months in one day. Call each of your credit companies and ask for a credit line increase. Every time you do this now, it's going to hit you with the next thing here, which is we'll cover your credit inquiries. So you get a hard credit inquiry every time you request that credit limit increase or access to a new line of credit, such as a house that you're going to buy or a new car or something of the such, or a new credit card that you're going to open. They're going to run a credit inquiry. Once you go over 7, you get into the kind of bad range. But at 6 or less, you're in kind of the not bad. I'm not even sure. 1 or 2 or 3 might be in a good range or excellent. The lower, the better here with credit inquiries. However, it's got a very small impact. I don't even look at this. I don't care. I've been up to 12, 13 at a time and still had 800 plus credit scores. So I'm not worried about credit inquiries. It's kind of insignificant, to be honest with you. And so I don't really look at that. Another major impact that you do need to be looking at is the average age of your credit. So mine's 7.7 years. Here's what you don't want to do. You don't want to go close accounts that you have open because you don't plan to use them. That's going to hurt your average age of credit. And you don't want to open new lines of credit because you're going to get a discount at a store somewhere for 5 or 10% off on that major purchase you're going to buy because you're being frugal. Don't do that. You do not want to introduce new lines of credit when you're trying to prepare to increase your credit score. You just need to have established average ages of credit, which might be revolving lines at your bank, where maybe you buy a car and you're paying it down over 5 to 7 years. That's going to stick with you. You're going to get 5 to 7 years of age on there. Credit cards, keep them for a long time. If you're relatively young, ask mom or dad to put you on their card account and make you a card holder. You will inherit the average age of credit from their credit agency. But tell them don't give you the card. They can keep the card. You don't need it. You just need an average age of credit history to help you with your credit score and boosting, because you look like you have 0. So that's really going to help you out. Their longest running credit card, just have them add you as somebody on the account and then take away all privileges for you to be able to purchase something. Your total number of accounts looks like they want you to have some activity there, not just one. So those are going to be like accounts. I don't have 25 open accounts at this time. But basically, those would be accounts that you might have completed as well. I may have 25 open, who knows? But you want to have a relatively good number of accounts open. So They want to know that you're creditworthy, that you're using your credit, and that you've been paying your credit on time. That's going to drive your score up. So as you can see here, excellent on 100% of on-time payments. No derogatory remarks in my file. Lots of excellent number of accounts being used. A good age of credit here for 7.7 years is the average age of my credit accounts. And then, and that includes like car loans, just set me back. But, if you've got several accounts, it's not going to hurt your average. And then your number of credit inquiries, which is relatively insignificant. And you'll see my credit score is at 663. So at this time. So while it's good, all of the pain is coming from right here, my credit utilization rate. So when you tell me you're going to pay off your credit card and go down to 0, that means that you're going to hurt your credit score significantly. You need to stay at 30% or below. If you have $10,000 in total credit, you need to be at $2,000 to $3,000, which is about what you might spend on expenses each month. So use one credit card, keep using it repeatedly, paying it off repeatedly every single month. Stop using your bank account to make those payments. Get a cash reward card so you can get the extra savings or the payback for using that card. And your credit score is going to start to go up quickly. This has a high impact, and I would just say that by high I mean it is probably, besides credit usage, on-time payments, and average age of credit, these 3 buckets are huge. Pay attention to them, and you're going to have a credit score that's worthy to go into a bank. You're looking at a 630 or better before you approach a bank. And then later we can talk about what you need to say when you go in that bank. I'll give you a separate video for that.